gentlemen, welcome to episode 112 of the MTB Podcast, presented and hosted by Worldwide Cyclery. I am Jared.
I am Jeff.
And I am Liam.
In this episode, we discuss the bikes and rides we've been enjoying lately and the usual listener questions ranging from brand loyalty, pre/post-ride routines, amazing riding destinations, shock stroke, and much, much more. The usual stuff where we will try and inform, educate, and entertain you fellow enthusiast mountain bikers, because that's what we do on this podcast. And we also don't play ads from ZipRecruiter, NetSuite. Man, NetSuite? I shouldn't have even said their name.
Oh, gosh.
I've been getting this NetSuite ad on the Wall Street Journal podcast. I just want to punch...
I would ask you what it is, but then we'd be giving them airtime.
Every podcast I listen
I've heard
to
that ad so many times.
like preloads, they say the intro like we just did, and they're like, and then I've been really enjoying my Dometic fridge, and I just go 15 seconds until I hear the next intro.
We're not going to sell out and play ads until somebody pays us real bucks.
Yeah.
And then eventually we will sell out like everyone does if they get paid real bucks.
Yeah, big bucks.
Probably no one's going to pay us any big bucks. So
Probably
until
not.
then, mountain bike content only.
That's right.
Bikes and rides we've been enjoying. Jared, you first.
Oof, man. Been doing a little bit of everything, I guess, lately. Riding my SB140, and I mean, honestly,
Yeti
it's
SB140,
my Yeti SB140.
140 mil travel, 29er.
Yes. And honestly, it's super overgrown and like not great around here.
Trails
so.
are in rough shape.
The nettle, is that what you call it?
Yeah, nettle, stinging
That
nettle.
is the worst.
Oh, yeah,
I've like
the
never
nettle sucks.
seen it in this area like this.
It only pops up when we get a ton of rain, and we got a ton of rain.
it's
and
horrible.
It
Yeah.
hurts and
That
stings.
and mustard are all invasive weeds. So like, unfortunately, invasive weeds grow faster than a normal chaparral, and
Nice terminology drop there, Liam. Gosh, that was nice.
Invasive weeds in chaparral.
that's a
Wow.
great
Wow.
term.
Have you been going to school at the park ranger educational courses or what?
Oh man,
I keep my eyes and ears open when I'm out in the trails. You know?
but yeah, I've been riding a little bit of everything, like trying to mix it up. Like if I get pissed off at the nettle, I'll go ride my gravel bike, or I'll
Your
go
open up?
my open up. Yes, that's right.
Up and upper.
Jared and I
It's an up.
have been making efforts to trim the trails.
We have.
Yes, you guys have been out there.
We
doing
did, yeah.
trail work.
We're going to continue to do so.
Yeah, tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
You want to join us, Jeff?
Ooh.
I have to look at my calendar. Let me get back to you on that.
Oh, yep. Of course you do. But yeah.
As I itch this stinging nettle rash
Ooh,
on my
oh,
arm.
jeez.
Oh, that does look like a good one.
I know, that hurts.
It might even be
Gross.
poison oak, not stinging
I don't
nettle.
think so, because it doesn't really itch. It kind of painful stings.
Yeah. But
Yeah, it's overgrown out there. A lot of creek crossings.
Yeah.
A lot of overgrowth.
Been riding my hardtail a lot.
The Y cycles.
Yep. My Y cycle is El Jefe, which I guess is a Revel Bikes El Jefe now.
That's right. Titanium hardtail.
Titanium
We
hardtail.
rode together.
We did ride together, and gosh, wasn't it great?
It was great. It was good. I have one story that happened, and I was like, I gotta have to tell this story on the podcast.
Yeah, tell it.
We're climbing up the trail, climbing out of the canyon, and there's like a little spot where there's sort of a fence that you have to meander around. And Jared's like, oh, maybe you could ride over this way. And I was like, no, look, there's a bunch of barbed wire on the ground right there. And he's always like, oh yeah, if you did that, you have to risk it for the biscuit. And then there's this like short pause, and then he goes, hey, did I tell you about that brisket sandwich I had the other day? his brain, he says the word, he says the phrase risk it for a biscuit, pauses, and then goes, did I tell you about that brisket sandwich I had?
That's because I know you love brisket, number one.
I know.
Number two, we were talking about brisket together. And also third, that in that saying that biscuit is replaceable with brisket. Like you can either risk it for the biscuit or the brisket.
Yeah.
Never heard it.
Never heard of
brisket.
brisket for the brisket?
No.
I also at some point was saying, like yelling back at you saying, do you think I should get a new bike and custom paint it? And you said, did you say something about your taint? Custom paint.
I'm like, no, man, my taint is fine. No, he was like 100 feet in front of me, like yelling at me, like, what do you think? I'm like, dude, what did you say? I can't hear you. You're so far in front of me and yelling this way.
You know what would be a good barbecue name, though?
Oh,
It's Risk It for the Brisket.
That is a great name. Yeah. Wow. All right. So when we start a barbecue,
Better buy that
pop-up,
domain.
Yeah, it's probably already taken.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably some barbecue sauce guy or something like that.
So you've been mixing it up. You've been riding the mountain bike,
Yeah.
the full suspension one, the
Yep.
hardtail,
Yep.
and the gravel bike.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just finished assembling the production privy steel bike with the carbon rear triangle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It actually needs a shifter still.
Did you ride it yet?
No.
Or you said you haven't totally finished
She's a
it
big
yet.
girl.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited, man. Looks like it's going to be a fun bike.
It was fun and just a little too long for me.
Yeah.
What's the reach on it? 490?
490.
Something like that, yeah. So,
Yeah.
we'll see. Got a short stem on it, high-rise bar.
Yeah.
But, Liam, what have you been riding lately?
I have also been mixing it up a bit. Almost a month ago now, I did Belgian Waffle Ride Cedar City, Belgian Waffle Ride San Diego. So I was putting in some miles on the Grav bike for that. I enjoyed doing that. I did not cramp, and I finished in 8 hours.
Jeez.
So
And how long was that one?
126 miles, 11,000 feet of climbing.
Wow.
So after that, needless to say, a little burnt out on the gravel bike, but I just ride all the bikes. Did a fun e-bike ride the other weekend. Little adventures. You would have liked it, Jeff.
An adventurous e-bike ride?
Yeah, we did not
Just
plan to
sounds
do it.
weird and risky.
It was.
There are such things.
It was.
Like adventure rides and battery life seems like very concerning.
Well,
Because a lot of my adventure rides go over time by about 8.5 hours.
We had plenty of battery. We weren't actually trying to adventure. We were in Santa Barbara, and Santa Barbara trails got wrecked by all the rains. And I thought that Romero Canyon was wrecked completely and impassable. And my buddy Jorge was like, "No, I'm pretty sure I've seen the locals go up it. Like, so we should try it." And I was like, and there's 2 against 1. I was the 1. The 2 wanted to go up Romero, so up we went. And there was about 100-foot wide mudslide, probably about 200 feet long. And we had to do like a human assembly line chain to get these 50-pound e-bikes across the slide. It was super sketchy. And
What bike were you riding?
all 3 of us were on Crestlines.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And that's a 52-pound e-bike, and I'm 150 pounds. So me carrying that bike up and over a lot of these spots was quite difficult for me.
That's almost bigger than you.
It's a third of my weight. I was actually planning, because we were riding e-bikes, I'm like, I'm going to go home and do a workout on top of this.
Yeah.
Did not happen. I got the workout in the middle of the ride. So that was how it was adventurous. Like the route itself, we know where we're going.
Yeah.
It was just adventurous because we ended up having to cross like probably 20 mudslides, with one of them being insane. Like we should have turned around really.
Jeez.
But, again, it was like 2 against 1 and we all went. So
Yeah. Wow.
yeah, that was it. But yeah, enjoying my SB120 a lot. It's really fun to ride on everything.
Yeti SB120.
Yes, Yeti SB120.
Not everybody just knows what these words
Well, they should if they listen to this podcast. They're a bike nerd like we are.
Not always.
You could easily confuse it for, Senate bill.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Senate Bill 120.
Senate Bill 120.
Yeah.
That's good, Jared.
Thank you.
That's good.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I didn't do a
Nice.
bike riding last week because I was south of the border. But I'm back.
Put another shrimp on the
A little
bobby.
vacation.
Little vacay. Yep.
Nice.
How about you, Jeff?
I have been riding 2 bikes. I've been riding that Banshee Titan V3.2. It's tight, dude. It's so tight.
Oh, it's tight.
That bike is awesome. It's 155 mil travel in the back, 170 in the front. It's on that Intend suspension, which is unbelievable. Buttery. So we're making a whole bike check video about that thing, which Lou Dog over here, who's doing all this podcast audio shenanigans right now, him and I were out there riding Suicide Trail, filming that bike, and man, that bike is just so fun. It's really fun.
It's sick.
Yeah, I just can't believe how well it rides and how fun it is to ride. So
You know what other bike of theirs looks pretty cool is their short travel 29er. What is that, the Paradox or something? Like 115 mil travel?
Yeah. Would you want to review that?
I would, yeah.
Because I actually have the other
Titan,
one coming, the
Ruined
Prime, I think.
Prime.
Really?
Yeah.
I would love to ride one of those. Yeah, it looks super fun.
Perfect. I have a Prime coming for review.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I mean, I've had a number of Banshees over the years. I mean, I was a Banshee fan when I was a kid. They've been around for so long.
Yeah.
And that brand has just always been a core mountain bike brand. They've never
Straight
talk
from
about
the
not
light.
selling out. Like
Yeah.
those guys have never made carbon. They've never made they've just never tried to fit in. They're just like, we're just going to make sick mountain bikes the best we can.
Yeah.
And they're going to be aluminum and well priced and for riders.
They
And
stay
so-
true to their roots.
They really do. Yeah. It's kind of cool.
And honestly, like their design language has been pretty you can see a Banshee from your bikes from in the past. And you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's clearly a Banshee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. They've really just gotten better and better at refining all this little stuff over the years in terms of all the CNC links and everything. It's cool.
I love their whole bottom bracket kind of shock mount hydroformed section.
What do they call it? Like a cage or shock cage? Or
I think they do
like
call
that?
it something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been loving that bike. So I've been riding that, and then I've also been riding my quote unquote gravel bike, which is a Salsa Cutthroat. I've talked about that a few times. So that thing, Salsa makes all types of crazy, wild, unique adventure bikes. And that thing they call a drop bar mountain bike, which is just, I guess that's what it is. It was made for the Continental Divide Trail. Literally has that printed on the underside of the down tube, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And I took that bike, must have been 3 years ago, and we put flat bars on it and a dropper post and still 700 by 45C tires. And I called it a gravel bike. Some people would call it a rigid mountain bike. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it. And I've just been riding that a lot because it's just fun. And I can ride more fire roads and wider trails on that aren't overgrown.
Yeah.
And then recently we put those new Continental tires on it. What are those tires called?
They're not new, but new to you.
Oh, yeah.
And new to the bike. But
yeah,
the Race King. 2.2 Race King protection.
Mm. Yeah. So I put those on there. So I've been running 700 by 45C Pirelli tires on it. Put on the Contis, it's a cross-country mountain bike tire.
Super cross-country.
So I now realize, okay, if my tire says 29 and not 700, I'm going to have to record this ride as a mountain bike ride now.
Yes.
So I recorded it as a mountain bike ride on my watch instead of a gravel bike ride.
Ooh.
And I went out for some reason with unrealistic expectations, assuming that now that I had slightly larger tires that it was going to be like a full suspension mountain bike.
and by 700 by 45 or 622 by 45 to 622 by 52. So you went about 7 mil wider.
Yeah, it didn't change. It didn't change that much. But I go out just going for it. My usual situation: work too late. By the time I'm on the trail, it's 6:45. I have barely an hour of daylight. I got to get back before it gets dark and eat some dinner. And so I'm just rushing to try and just crank out 10 miles in an hour. And I go out as fast as I can go. First downhill, I'm just bobbling my head everywhere. Like, wow, this really didn't help out very much. Getting all squirrely. Almost go over the bars. Two-wheel drift into two corners back to back. Almost sack myself. I'm like, wow, I really got to rein it in, bud. And then not 5 minutes later, I bunny hop a big puddle of mud and horse poo water and land, almost blow my feet off, somehow maintain control. However, my chain fell off because of the trauma of the bunny hop situation. Well, it's like a ravine, so there's no way you're landing that smooth, It's like you're bunny hopping onto another uphill. Chain falls off, putting my chain back on, I realized my water bottle's gone. So I was like, oh, it must have happened right now from this bunny hop. Nowhere to be found. So I was like, I'm just going to go on with the ride. Get down into Sycamore Canyon, get totally thirsty. And I was like, I'm just going to drink the creek water. I just drank a whole...
Did you?
Yeah, I just drank a whole bunch of unfiltered creek water.
Savage.
I figured it'd be fine. And I figured what's the worst that can happen? I get food poisoning. So I just went for it.
Yeah, something like that.
Around 48 hours.
I drank a bunch of creek water.
Creek water. You should carry a life straw or something.
Well, it was a 10-mile ride from home. I wasn't going to bring all my adventure gear.
Hey, I hear you.
And so then I continue on the ride.
Just a hot mess.
It was a hot mess. I know. Continue on the ride. And, by the way, before I drank the creek water, I almost went head on with a bunch of hikers, one of them being a super good looking girl right in the front, all crazy. And I was like, oh man, this ride is out of control. So I was like, I'm going to go back the same way, see if I can find my bottle. Find my bottle. 20 feet after finding my bottle, putting it back in my bike, I get a whole bunch of overgrowth sucked into my drivetrain. Chain falls off again. I have to sit there, pick all the weeds out of the thing. Oh, it was a bit of a mess of a ride.
You run out of daylight with all these hiccups?
No, I barely made. I made it back at 7:47.
Wow.
I did 10 miles in an hour and 4 minutes or an hour.
Even
and 3
with
minutes.
all of these hiccups.
Wow, you're a speed demon.
It was a mess.
Gosh.
That's a fast bike.
Yeah, imagine if you had some suspension and a water bottle and
Yeah, but then it would have been a different type of mountain bike ride.
Well, I think I'm gonna get Jeff with some inserts.
Oh,
and have him drop the pressure even lower.
I was gonna say,
see how low he can
what kind
go.
of pressure are you running
lower.
on that bad boy?
Well, so those are the new tires. I put 25, 29.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I don't know. It's still pretty rough. But it's such a fun, it's just a weird bike. It's super fast, super light, and really efficient and really fun for just random adventurous rides. And I really enjoy that thing.
What's the max clearance?
I think it's 2.35 or maybe 2.4.
That's probably pretty generous. There's probably a mud clearance for like Tour Divide status. Like you could probably fit big tire in there.
Yeah.
With dry conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool bike. I think I need to get a new one though, because this one I've been around for a few years and it's got a broken frame.
Yeah.
I think people have listened to the podcast a while know at one point
why don't you refresh their memory?
At one point, I rode it to the beach as I was taking my clothes off to go for a swim. The bike, I had it sort of propped up on a rock. The wind gust blew it over, and it landed on another rock and just smashed the top tube. Not bad, as if you kind of took a ball peen hammer and kind of whacked the top tube.
It's not bad. It's just
definitely cracked.
Cracked pretty
But it's
good.
just on the top tube, and I've been riding it for 2.5 years like that.
Yeah.
I don't advise that. Don't do that. That's really bad advice.
Yep.
Especially
the way he rides it.
Yeah. But
And especially
but it's fine.
being in your position.
So, yeah, I should probably replace it. So anyways, the bike is officially for sale. But I'm going to say that the bike as it sits, which is really nice, like it's got really high end stuff, Industry 9 ultralight wheels, the E13 XCX cranks,
Level ultimate brakes.
Level ultimate brakes.
One up bar.
Industry 9 stem. Yeah, it's a super nice build.
Did you say Industry 9 wheels already?
Yeah, Industry 9 wheels.
Yep.
SRAM XO drivetrain, shifter and derailleur with the E13 cassette.
Brand new Continental Race King tires.
Brand new Continental Race King tires. If anyone's interested in this bike, I will sell it for $1,800.
Ooh.
But you do have to know that I'm selling you all of the parts. It just happens to include in the box a broken frame.
Yes.
That's free.
It happens to have, yeah.
Which is the legal way to get around selling a broken frame. Could you repair it? Very likely. But it's just going to happen to be accidentally put in the box. So if anyone wants to buy it, please reach out to podcast at Worldwide Cyclery. For $1,800, that's a sick deal. Like if you actually want that bike, it's a 56, the size.
Those
by the
wheels
way.
are almost that price new.
Yeah, I mean that's an insane deal. But I need to refresh that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, if someone wants that bike, please reach out.
Yeah.
It's a good deal. Once all of those parts with a free frame included that has a crack on the top tube.
Yeah. That's a sick deal.
If
If you happen to need a bike full of parts.
if you happen to need a bike,
I was
sick deal.
texting Jeff, I think, when I was in Mexico, and I was like, I kind of want it, though. I don't need it, like, at all. Like, I probably would ride it less than any of my other bikes, but it is just such a cool, funky, like, unique bike. It's like
so fun to ride. It's like such a weird mixture of a bike.
I kind of want it.
If it was like, I don't know.
I literally don't have room in my garage for it. So.
If it was like a little bit less expensive, like half the price, it would be the best bike to like ride around town. But like
it would. It's a commuter machine because it has flat bars and a drop post.
Yeah.
You can bunny hop up curbs on that thing all day. I mean, it's fast.
Yeah,
it's a really fun bike to ride.
Yeah,
that's why I like it so much. Because for me, I can ride mountain bike trails on it. I can ride the road on it. I can ride gravel bike trails on it. It kind of works for all of them, and it's just a sick, fun, fast bike.
Sounds like
so.
a
I'm going to
sales
literally
pitch.
build another one. I just want to get all new stuff because. You know, I've had this one for 3 years, and that's a long time for me. So
it's a very long time.
Got to keep my stuff fresh.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants that bike, reach out, and we'll sell it to you.
Yeah.
All the parts with a broken frame included in the box for free.
Exactly.
That has clearly no warranty.
Oh, God. Well,
anyways, that's what we've been riding and what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Shall we jump into listener questions?
I think so.
All right. First one.
First one. Do you think that Shimano will release a direct mounted derailleur system in the near future, i.e. transmission? Ooh. Well, they did have a direct mount system that everybody likes to point out about, 15, 20 years ago.
I don't think it was that long ago. Maybe it was.
Like
No, I
OG
think it
State
was.
Group or something like that. It was like early 2000s.
I sometimes forget how old I am and how long I've been riding mountain bikes.
Yeah.
20
2003
years.
was 20 years ago.
Straight I've been
Isn't that
riding mountain
horrible?
bikes. Yeah.
Yeah, 2003, 20 years
I
ago.
started riding mountain bikes when I was 13 and I'm 33 now.
Wow.
You're so old.
Yeah,
I remember
20
when I
years ago,
first
see?
started working with you, you were like a youngin'.
That makes you old too, kind of.
Kind of does it. But yeah, I mean, I actually, if I recall correctly, I'm pretty sure I saw a patent that they filed, even though I don't know how that works because I'm sure SRAM obviously has a patent on their transmission, but
Well, there's a lot of weird
sure
patent
it's,
shenanigans that
Yeah.
goes on between the big three
And-
Fox,
yeah.
Shimano, and SRAM.
And patents are mainly to like sometimes just have people not go down a road. Like they just file it and they're never going to do anything with it, but they just block off the road for someone to go down, right?
Makes sense.
But I mean, I don't know if Shimano, like at this point, SRAM UDH, right, the mount that transmission uses, is so accepted in the industry. Bike companies aren't going to then go, oh yeah, we'll make a UDH dropout and a Shimano dropout. Like, they're not going to do that.
They're not going to make two rear triangles.
So either Shimano has to jump on a UDH train and license it from them, or I don't know how that's going to work. I'm sure Shimano's trying, but Shimano's like, I used to say they're 2 to 3 years behind. I think they're like 5 to 6 years behind now because they still have wires on their shifters. Or fishing reels, or are they shifters?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
That's brutal. But you're totally right. I mean,
I think if Shimano can feasibly, if they're able to just design a derailleur that mounts right to the UDH frame, then I don't see why they wouldn't. Like, it's a superior design. It works good. SRAM kind of already paved the way for them. Unless SRAM did something weird where they only allow people to, like, if they have a patent that says you can't mount to this unless you license it through us, or it's in violation of our... I have no idea. That's probably some weird legal stuff rolled up in that who knows, that could really determine Shimano's fate or their ability to even do this or not.
But I mean, the XD, which is kind of what started this all, right? Like, them making a XD standard driver body that they control was kind of the start of this whole, like, drivetrain standardization that SRAM did. They licensed that out, you know. Other cassette companies will license that mount and use it from them. So, like, that's an open license. Shimano just doesn't want to use anything SRAM because they're, you know, basically sworn enemies. So
yeah, I don't know. That is a weird situation. I mean, it would make sense, right? Because I think SRAM has now proven with their design that a direct mount derailleur is amazing in a lot of different ways. Yeah. So it would totally make sense for Shimano to do that if they ever want to compete with the system that SRAM has put together. Yeah. But yeah, they would have to kind of capitulate and say, well, we're going to connect it to a UDH, which is a SRAM design. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep.
We will see. But
that's like hell freezing over. I think what happened before that.
Yeah. I'm just going to continue riding SRAM and not worry about it.
Use your design. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
I can't see them ever doing that. But if they do, hey, I mean.
TLDR rides SRAM because they innovate.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good company that supports the industry.
Yeah.
All right. Next question.
Clydesdale. As a Clydesdale rider who is more top-heavy than your average rider, is there a need or benefit to looking at bike geometry differently than just use? Would a fat guy fare better on enduro geometry even though I'm mostly trail riding, or XC geometry for trail, etc.? Or should I simply look at what is used for and leave it at that? Long-time listener, first-time caller. P.S. Jeff or Liam should get a pet rock or something to give Bean some competition. I agree with the last sentiment.
Bean is Jared's cat, for those who don't know, and Liam and I don't have pets, so that's where that last part came from.
Yes.
But the Clydesdale rider, should he be looking at geo differently? That's honestly kind of an interesting question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And thinking about it, I don't know if it's necessarily geometry, but definitely equipment choice. But, I mean, it would make sense for, if you are heavier, to have slight slacker angles, maybe, just to get a little bit more stability. But I'd say it's probably more about equipment choice and spec versus actual, like, bike geometry.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry as much about geometry if proportionally, like, regardless of your weight, I think if you're proportionally normal-ish, then you shouldn't worry about geometry.
Yeah.
Where I think it is, where some people have had some reasonable questions about geo and stem length and things like that, is some people have abnormally short legs given their height, or abnormally long legs, or abnormally long arms. Like, that's when you have to think, okay, maybe I should change things up in terms of bar width or stem length, things like that. But if you're proportioned normally, you're just heavier. I agree with you. Like, you should probably worry about component choice and less about geo specifically.
Well, sometimes even Weaver here will, like, he loves riding a little bit more cross-country stuff, and he'll try to get to cross-country. But Weaver's, you know,
he's a big dude.
Weaver's a big dude. I think he's a little over 200.
Played football.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. He could tackle some people.
Yeah. And I'm always like, Weaver, you need to get, like, one spec up from that, you know? Just go up a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
you're going to break that.
Yeah. You don't need a Sid fork. Get the pike at 130. Like, you're not going to be any slower, I promise you.
Yeah.
You know, we're not racing World Cup XC. and you'll probably have better stability, more fun, more control.
Yeah,
so
faster.
Little stuff like that, I think, makes much bigger choice. Or tires too, right? Like,
yeah,
don't get paper thin tires. Go up on tire a little bit.
Yeah,
type of stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, I would totally agree. Yeah, just look at what components you're speccing on your bike. Like, beefier brakes, rotors, tires.
Yeah, brakes and tires are the absolute most relevant thing if you're a larger rider.
Yeah.
On even for myself, when I was in Santa Cruz last week after Sea Otter, I was riding an e-bike up there with a buddy. I don't really know campus trails that well. I can't remember anything up there. I just dropped into a trail and like it was fun and flowy up top, and then took a right and it was just like straight down 100-foot chute. And I was like, oh, and I like yelled at my buddy. I'm like, Stan, heads up, like get steep. That's like the first time I've ever been like, oh, these brakes do not slow me down enough. On an e-bike, I was on Shimano XTs with 200 mil rotors, and I was like, I could easily go up in rotor or get like a TRP brake.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah.
Big old brakes.
Big brakes.
Yeah, that is an upgrade. A lot of people get that are either heavier or riding an e-bike for the first time or going fast as like their riding progresses and they ride a lot faster. They realize they need better brakes. So that is a one to consider.
And I think that's another thing is like, adding, 50, 100 grams to your brakes and rotors isn't going to make you any slower uphill or anywhere. It's only going to help you on the downhill.
Yeah.
Well,
when you need it.
With that, let's break into an intermission.
Oh.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
What are those called? Like a
segue?
An intermission?
Yeah, but I like when you make a joke with like a dad joke into a segue. What's that called? It's like a pun.
That's like a pun, yeah.
Pun dad joke segue?
A punway.
I liked it.
Punway.
I liked it a lot.
All right, here it is.
Break.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ricky from Ricky's Tackle Box Supplies and Marriage Counseling. We are a prominent sponsor of the MTB Podcast and wanted to let you know that if you're ever looking for any tackle box supplies or marriage counseling, you can find that at Ricky's Tackle Box Supplies and Marriage Counseling.net. Thank you very much.
And now, back to the show.
Jared, what did you have a bunch of coffee in the evening or something? What
No, man, I'm just having a great day. What's up? Jeff, you for sure know the answer to this question.
I do.
What is the best drop post option for a weight weenie such as yourself?
So, the one that I have in my Revel Ranger is the KS LEV-CI or something.
Wow,
I don't know. It's the lightest dropper post for 150 mil travel.
Incorrect.
Well, not as of just recently, right? That's why I was looking at you because the Fox Transfer SL.
Fox Transfer SL is lighter. However,
asterisk.
You didn't want to switch because it's only two position, maxed out or max drop.
Yeah.
And you like the little in-between infinites.
No, sometimes it's useful.
No, I totally agree. But it is not the lightest one anymore.
Yeah.
It is. The Transfer SL
it's the
is
lightest
lighter.
infinite position adjustment dropper post.
That is the correct statement.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, didn't we find that like one super obscure European brand that had a lighter dropper post? Now you have to get
There's always a super obscure European brand that has something better than everything else. Like that'll never end.
Yeah.
We need to get Intent to make a dropper post for you.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're working on one, but I can't wait. But Intent is not an ultra weight weenie company.
Right.
They're an ultra performance, like, beautiful manufacturing company. I wouldn't say they're ultra weight weenie. But yeah, I mean, KSLEV carbon is super expensive.
Yeah.
It's what a lot of people would consider unreasonably priced.
Cost prohibitive.
But that's the one I have on my Revel Ranger because it looks good and it's the lightest one that has infinite position adjustment.
I have the Transfer SL in 150 drop on my SB 120. Yeti SB 120, not Senate Bill 120.
You never have that problem where when you go to put it down, if you're kind of trying to do it really fast, you don't get 7/8 the way down and then accidentally it doesn't stay there because it doesn't.
I have not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my only worry because I don't ever ride it in either. I only ride it all the way up or all the way down. But it's just in that scenario where it's like, oh, shoot, downhill's coming and you're really fast. You try to like squat the thing down. And if you don't go all the way to the bottom, then it might just go right back up on you. And that's not a good scenario.
Yeah. The thing I think that helps it not do that is as soon as you like break that top out zone, it's the easiest post to put down in the world. It's like it almost feels
because
broken.
It's spring actuated,
it's
right?
full spring.
There's no resistance to push it down with your
it's bizarre like how easy it is once you kind of get past that top little top out spot.
Yeah.
So I think it just goes down so fast that you don't have that problem. But I haven't had it yet.
Also, can't you just like hit the lever and push it a little bit and then like let go and still push it down?
Yes.
So you can go like that, and you don't have to hold it the whole time. And like
Yeah.
just in case you might still
to
hold
hold
it,
the lever.
and then it would
No.
come back up with you. You don't have to hold. You can just go like that,
Yeah.
and then it'll stay down.
Once it's past its top, it's basically two like, locking points, which is max top out or max drop. You can just move it up and down until it hits one of those points and it locks back in.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Hey, I just wanted to make a quick note for the people who are watching the MTB Podcast on YouTube channel. Today I made a whiskey drink with Breckenridge Distillery whiskey with some spiced mango slices.
Yeah.
And apparently the whole first half of the podcast, I had some mango spice smeared on my face, and neither of these yahoos bothered to tell me until we took the intermission.
It wasn't up here. It's just like a little on your lip in your scruff.
Like barely right there.
They can't see that far away.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say, for those of you listening, if you ever see, someone you're around that you have any remote respect for, you should tell them if they've got something on the face.
Harsh.
The first thing you said is, you don't let your friends look stupid. I said, no, that's exactly what you do, is you let your friends look stupid.
Unless it's detrimental to you.
And we're too cheap to have a 4K camera, so they can't see that detail.
Oh, I think Louie's been filming this in 4K, haven't you? Yeah, he
Oh,
has. I
there you
noticed
go.
that the other day.
All right.
So if you're curious, go to the MTB Podcast YouTube channel,
Yeah.
and you can maybe see some spiced mango seasoning all over my face
God,
for the whole first half of the video.
would do anything for that.
By the way, also before we get off this topic, this whiskey with the spiced mango, I can't even taste it at all. And then you told me
You shouldn't use dried fruits in your
I've been
cocktails.
making this mistake for
I
months.
told you last time you did this.
I do have selective hearing, so I'm not going to disagree.
All right, we'll get some fresh fruit for the cocktails.
Yes.
Some orange peels, mango if you like.
Hey, this is a good question.
Yeah, it is.
What are you most proud of this month? Could be anything. A PR deal, cat Instagram.
Yeah.
What do you got,
Great
Jared?
question.
My pet rock has been crushing it.
You should start an Instagram for your pet rock.
Actually, if anyone has a name for my pet rock, put it in the comments, because I will name it after that.
Chris.
No, not you.
Yeah.
The people listening, the fans.
Oh, I just thought it'd be cool to be like Chris Rock.
That would be pretty funny, actually. Dwayne.
What are you proud of?
Yeah. What am I proud
listener
of?
question.
Honestly, I'm pretty proud that got out there with Liam, did some trail work the other day. I'm pretty stoked on that. I want to continue doing that, and like, it feels really good to give back in that way. It's one thing I've been wanting to do more is like, give my time to something else other than myself, because I'm selfishly pretty selfish with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to do more things like that.
Yeah, a sad time of my memory on this topic was at one point you said, hey, it was at a company meeting. You said, hey, we should do more to help local trail networks and stuff. I said, I'm all for it, man. Let's do it. Like, you spearhead it. And you'd reached out to Casca.
Yeah.
Canajo Open Space Conservancy
Yeah, Conservian.
Agency
I don't know.
or
There's
something.
Casca and Costco.
Yeah, I think I reached out
But-
to both of the organizations.
You literally reached out to multiple, tried to bang on their door to tell them we would happily give them money or labor or
Yeah.
support, and they just brushed
Ghosted
you.
me.
They just,
Ghosted.
and you were
I was
not
upset,
happy about it,
dude. I'm like
Yeah,
trying to give you.
that is crazy to
Yeah.
reach out to an organization like that and to be treated that way when you're literally offering to give them money is pretty,
Yeah. I'm like, dude, we
crazy.
have not only like a dozen able-bodied, people willing to help, but like also like, please.
And now we're just taking matters into our own hands and just
Yeah.
going out by ourselves and buying tools and doing it
Yeah.
on our own time. So
Good old-fashioned way. Like, yeah, literally offered to adopt a trail, but I guess that's just not good enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm proud of. Pretty stoked we did that. What about you, Jeff?
I am proud of a couple things. The Miles for NICA program, which is something we implemented into Worldwide Cyclery a few years ago. So the way this works is basically everyone on the crew is in a private Strava group, and this is how it works out. So NICA, the National Interscholastic Cycling Association, which is the nonprofit organization making mountain biking a real sport in middle schools and high schools all around the country. So our staff, if they ride 1 to 100 miles, $1 directly per mile goes to NICA. 101 to 999, 50 cents goes to NICA. and then 25 cents per mile over 1,000 miles. And that has been a really cool way for the staff to very clearly and be able to donate to NICA. And just in Q1 this year, we donated $3,500, and last year we did almost $22,000. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Pretty sick.
So I like that. I've always tried to find ways to have businesses operate with purpose. Speaking of which, I'm going to answer this question twice.
Oh.
Number 2, so Trail One, the mountain bike component brand that we co-founded. That brand, it kind of had really 2 purposes. Number 1 was we wanted to build a brand that gives back to the sport of mountain biking. And number 2, we really wanted to take everyone on the crew and implement sort of all the stuff we've always wanted and just have really good components that kind of fit the specs and needs that we designed, and worked with an engineer to make that possible. But every Trail One component sold, $1 goes back to Trail Networks, and we are now $5,000, right? Just for the grips.
Just for the Hell's Gate grips, we just $5,000.
The Hell's Gate grips are named after the Hell's Gate National Park in Kenya, and that is an amazing trail network out there that we've donated a grip of money to. Like that? A grip of money to.
Yes, he's done it.
But yeah, so Trail One's like, it's cool because it's young. It's not even 2 years old yet, but it's now several $1,000s deep into donations for trail networks in various places around the country and the world. And it's just coming to life, coming to fruition. And we're seeing like really visceral results of people building trails and fixing trails because of our donations. And that's rad. On top of the fact that we're all riding really good stuff and grips that we literally all put input into, and a stem collection that we all put input into. And yeah, it's cool.
Stoked.
So, those are my. I'm a double answer.
Yeah.
Double answer. What do you got, Willie?
Well, that was part of mine, slightly. Yeah, it was just cool to see that we hit 5,000 on that, and in total, I think we're about at $10,000 in donations.
Nice.
Which is cool,
Yeah, all the various trail networks.
Yeah, all the trail networks and treasuries.
Went to the Sage Trail Alliance whole dig day that we Trail One supported.
Yeah, so we sponsored a dig day, and in addition, that made an additional donation to Sage Trail Alliance in Santa Barbara, which got hammered from the rain, so they need a lot of work. But yeah, it was cool to sponsor that and do that. In addition, just stuff that I've worked hard on, like all the Trail One stuff, and just to see it starting to pick up traction it's really cool.
Yeah,
see that happening.
Yeah, I agree. No,
and then
I'm stoked.
My personal one, I kind of didn't have the best training leading up to BWR. Definitely had half the volume I did last year. So I went at it with a different approach and just try to eat as much as I possibly could and ride within my limit the whole day. And by doing that, I felt pretty strong and solid and didn't cramp, which was basically the goal, and finished good. So yeah, stoked on that.
Nice.
For context, Belgian Waffle Ride.
Waffle Ride.
BWR. You mentioned it earlier.
Super roady stuff.
Big dog. I mean, it's not really roady.
Yeah.
It's gravel, super gravel stuff.
Yeah, in the middle of it. They call it unroad race.
Oh.
An unroad race.
Yeah.
So you said it was 126 miles?
Yeah.
Of that, how much was dirt versus?
They said 40%. Distance-wise is 40%, but I don't think anyone realizes that your speed is almost half of that on the road.
Right.
So I think time-wise, it's more 60 or 65% in the dirt.
Yeah.
So,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Checks out.
Which is why they call it a gravel ride.
Exactly.
Gravel race, not a road one.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
I might build up a real gravel bike with drop bars one day.
Oh.
But I currently haven't found the courage to ride drop bars.
The courage?
The courage.
Yeah, it's more of a desire. I just don't want to ride drop bars.
Yeah.
It's all right. We know you're scared.
We're excited for the day that comes. I'm sure you're going to look great in Lycra.
I'm going to do it just for Louis, because Louis is going to build up a gravel bike.
Do you know we just ordered some custom worldwide Lycra jerseys?
We did.
From Volet.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. Aiden spearheaded the whole movement.
Aiden did it, and I just said, yeah, cool.
No way.
They're sick. Yeah. You're looking at me with this
look about this. We're going to have to talk about this one off air.
No, they're sick. I mean, would you rather have us rep I don't know, Gore.
I just said that because you always wear the random Gore stuff.
It's because it's good stuff and it's super cheap.
Gore is good XC Lycra stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we got to move on.
gravel,
Move
whatever.
on from Lycra.
Move on from Lycra. Can you please elaborate on stroke length? Is longer always better?
Okay, for a little context.
Ask your girlfriend.
For a little context, mountain bike rear shocks have an eye-to-eye length and a stroke length.
Yes.
Eye-to-eye length is where those two bolts are, and then the stroke length is the actual distance of the stroke on the shock. And it's very important to get these specifications correct when you're changing the rear shock on your mountain bike. We have a video all about this on YouTube, an article, of course.
Most of the time, definitely all the time, most of the time, you cannot change that eye-to-eye on your bike.
Yeah.
Right.
That's 99% of the time impossible. You got to stick with the same one.
You can sometimes change the stroke, but very, rarely.
Yeah. Definitely depends on the bike.
Yep.
But with that said, is longer always better? I mean, I imagine with a longer stroke, you have more volume in the, hypothetically more volume.
Well, so there's...
I don't know if it's quite volume. From what I've kind of understood talking with guys from Cascade and even some of the guys at Yeti and even Nico, that using the full stroke on a kinematic design gives you the most control and kind of I don't want to say predictability, but
more tunability.
more
leverage ratio and
tunability,
stuff.
I think, by tuning it by using the full stroke. So super common trail bike size is 210 by 55.
210 millimeter eye-to-eye,
Correct.
55 millimeter stroke.
Correct. By using that full 55 mil stroke, instead of going down to some bikes are 52.5 or 50, you have a little bit more control and tunability. That's what I've understood. I'm not a kinematic engineer or nerd.
Makes sense. I mean, versus or even just you can get a smaller eye to eye with a similar stroke too, right? Or I guess that wouldn't really matter because you can get a 190 by 45 shock, then a 210 by 50. But I guess that's only a 5 mil difference in stroke for 20 mil difference in eye to eye.
Yeah.
This topic gets confusing pretty quickly. I think an interesting way to say it is because bikes are the suspension designed totally differently, certain bikes might have a different size shock, a different length stroke, and the same travel, right? That's just because there's different leverage in the suspension design. So that's not a big deal. You're not going to see some huge variance. You're not going to if you looked at all of the 120 mil travel bikes, you're not going to see, the strokes aren't going to be all over the place. No. Some might be a little bit longer, a little bit shorter because of the design, but it's not going to be as if one 120 mil travel bike has a crazy long stroke and all the rest don't. So going on this topic though, Foes, which a lot of people haven't heard of, which is a long time sort of downhill brand.
Do they still make bikes?
I'm not sure if they're still in business. I'd have to check. They're a little, it was like a USA made OG. Yeah. I mean, at one point they were really important and cool, and I don't know, I haven't kept up with it. But so they used to have a 2-to-1 bike, and it was all about the ratio of 2-to-1, so they could have the longest stroke, because if the longest stroke, they have a way bigger shock. The bigger shock, you're able to have more oil, more tunability, etc. But that's at the sacrifice of weight. Yeah. So but on a downhill bike, that doesn't matter as much because it's a downhill bike. So I don't know. I think the answer is, longer travel bikes are going to have bigger rear shocks with more stroke, and shorter travel bikes are going to have shorter shocks with shorter stroke, and that's just the way it is. And don't get too in the weeds about anything else. Yeah, stroke, longer is not always better. It just usually means more travel.
Yeah.
So,
and even Yeti now bumped all their bikes to full stroke for that eye to eye. And I was like, oh, is there any way lunch ride these and make longer rear travels? And they're like, no, it's full stroke. Our designers thought it was better. And that was the answer I got. So, yeah.
So,
who knows?
There you go. Sounds like it's better.
Don't stress about it.
Yeah.
It's not like you can change it.
I mean, the engineers designed the bike, right? So, there's no point in being oh, well, that doesn't use a full stroke, so it's bad. It's no, they designed it around that stroke for a reason. It's hard to make a bad bike these days.
Yeah, these days bikes are so good. If you look at any good mountain bike brand, the bike is just good and optimized and designed well, and you're not going to find a way to hack it to make it something better. Rewind 15, 20 years, you could find a way to hack bikes and make them better and be like, oh, I'll put these ovalized shock bushings to make the head angle slacker, and I'll find the shock that has a 2 millimeters longer stroke, so I'll get a little bit more travel, and you could hack bikes almost to make them work better. But
Yeah.
yeah, those days are kind of over.
And the most hack you're going to do now is a Cascade components link for said specific bike. But
Yeah.
And
That's-
riding style.
and
Yeah.
riding style. But
Yeah.
that's not for every bike. So.
But if you're going to upgrade your shock, it is confusing. Feel free to reach out to us. We handle those questions all day, every day, and also have an extensive YouTube video and article on that topic.
All day or day?
And it does matter because you can royally mess up
Yeah,
upgrading your rear shock
definitely.
if you buy the wrong size.
For sure.
So, all right. Read off the next question there, J-Rad.
All right. As we get older and our bodies don't quite rebound like when we were 17, what kinds of activities, prep, recovery do you guys use to take care of your bodies after years of abuse, extreme/action sports, MTB, moto, snowboarding, etc., pre and post ride? I personally like to just stretch a ton and use foam rollers, chirp wheel, and a cold plunge if I can. I don't really have, accessibility to that frequently, so I don't do that all the time. But yeah, what about you guys?
I mean, I would say stretching and rolling out is a way more common thing that I do these days that I didn't do nearly as much or need to do when I was in my teens and early 20s.
You feel it when you don't do it now.
Yeah, definitely. But I also try to just be really, and having a Garmin watch and tracking all my activities is really helpful. I try to just be cognizant of what I'm doing and making sure I'm recovering accordingly, and not doing too many crazy exercise days in back to back without a rest day. Making sure I'm not just botching my sleep for one reason or another, and then also assuming I can exercise at a certain level. Like, I don't know, just being more cognizant of all of that.
Yeah.
And sleep and stretch and roll, and making sure you're not just overusing yourself is important. So I don't know, just paying attention to that is useful. I don't know, that's my tip.
Yeah. Liam?
Yeah, pretty much same thing. I mean, I foam roll and I stretch 10 minutes before bed every single night, and then rest days I usually will do like a nice 30-minute one. One thing for me that's helped a lot make me feel better in the long term is like maintenance strength training. So
Yeah, mixing that in is a huge difference. Yeah.
I feel like once I did that, I was having like some tight back issues and hip flexor issues, and once I kind of did that and was stretching consistently and doing both consistently, like all of my, little issues went away. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah. No, those are good tips. I don't know. I think a lot of it boils down to being aware of what you're doing and just paying attention to exactly that. Doing some strength training if you feel like you need to, stretching.
Yeah. And eating healthy food and trying to sleep as much as I can.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Checks out. Mm-hmm. Well, should we go on the next one?
This is a doozy.
This is a
This
big
is a
one.
long one.
Are you going to have to synopsize this one?
Oof.
You want me to synopsize it?
All
Try
right.
it.
Well, I mean, basically, I don't know. Should I just read?
I got it.
Well, the
I got
question
it,
is, are you guys brand loyal?
Yes.
And then he goes on to...
So essentially, this rider has a Niner bike with Shimano drivetrain and Fox suspension. He just got a different bike or just put SRAM onto this bike, and he's really liking it. Now, his dilemma is all of his other bikes are Shimano and Fox, and it's hurting him to kind of go with SRAM on the Fox bike without having a RockShox for it to match. So kind of what he's saying is SRAM and RockShox are the same company, and then bikes are usually spec'd with Shimano and Fox because they're, kind of on the other side of that. He's asking, is he weird, neurotic for doing this and a weirdo and feeling this way, or should he just suck it up because he's not a sponsored rider and ride stuff? Do we have hangups like this? Are we brand loyal across bikes, group set, suspension, and etc.?
I mean, it's a great question. Absolutely understand the neurotic tendencies.
You are not neurotic, man. You are just a mountain bike nerd, and you fit in over here anytime you hang out with us.
You're one of us.
We talk about this stuff all the time.
Man, I mean, that's tough. I mean, I personally love SRAM drivetrain and Fox suspension. So, like, in that regard, I guess I am brand loyal, but I'm not going to be like, I need to have RockShox on my SRAM bike,
Yeah. I'm extremely brand loyal with SRAM drivetrains.
Same.
The only non-SRAM drivetrain I've had in the last 8 years is the one on my downhill bike because it was cheap as hell to buy non-SRAM, and it was in stock at the time. And it's a downhill bike, so I don't care that much.
Yeah.
But yeah, SRAM drivetrains on all my bikes. Yeah, I go back and forth between Fox and RockShox. I'm not like one or the other. Usually whatever bike comes with, I just kind of stick with that just because they're both so good. Like,
Yeah.
You know, so.
I realize as we're talking about this, I would have to almost write down my situation because I'm loyal in the sense that I just wouldn't ever want to run a non-brand matching fork and shock.
Yeah, that's more important than having
yeah.
SRAM drivetrain Fox.
Yeah, I have no
suspension
problem
front
with the
rear.
SRAM drivetrain Fox suspension. Like you're just going best of both worlds there in some extent. But yeah, I just wouldn't want to run a non-matching fork and rear shock the same way I wouldn't want to run like a Shimano crank and a SRAM drivetrain. That just doesn't make sense to me. I wouldn't,
Or even
I wouldn't do
worse,
that.
Maxxis front tire, Schwalbe rear
Oh,
tire.
God.
no,
You cannot
yeah,
mix
no.
tire brands.
Tire brands do not
Absolutely
get mixed. Do not
not.
get mixed.
Unless it's
So-
like an emergency situation, like you're on a trip.
Well, yeah,
you know,
that's
you
different,
need to replace
but-
a tire. It doesn't match the brand. That's okay. We'll let that
Emergency
slide.
situations are all
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll let
There's
that slide.
exceptions.
You know
to
what's
these,
even
but-
better is I have a boxer up front and a Float X2 on the back of my downhill bike.
Gosh, I don't even know if Jeff's gonna be able to sleep tonight. Just thinking about that. What about like
I
on that
actually
other bike?
already saw it, and
What
I
if they're
saw
both
it
black?
on your production.
What if they're
preview.
both black and not like Kashima
Yes.
this and black that?
I don't
You
know.
can almost not even. Yeah, it's like. Yeah.
Well, my excuse for the downhill bike is the RockShox does not fit on the rear,
Oh,
and I
right.
wanted an air shock. So
Well, so anyways, I mean, do whatever you want. At the end of the day, it literally does not matter. Like if we're talking in the scheme of the universe of things that matter in life, this doesn't.
except for matching mismatched tires and suspension components.
If you're gonna be like, don't feel bad or weird or neurotic about being picky about this, because people that are deep in the industry like us that ride bikes all the time and build them, like we're all neurotic and worried and thinking about this kind of stuff. So don't feel bad about it, but at the same time realize that like in the scheme of the universe,
yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
my
you can keep on emailing us. It's like
my SB120 has SRAM transmission on it with Fox suspension and dropper post.
yeah,
Your
That's all right.
SB140 SRAM drivetrain Fox suspension.
yeah. Like every Yeti. I mean, I guess they do. I guess they have the other company that they spec for drivetrains on the other.
Do they actually spec it still?
I don't know. Oh, maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know if they
forgot
do.
what that company is called, anyways.
Well, yeah, don't feel bad about it, but also don't worry about it.
Yeah,
And also don't feel bad about like being like, you know what? Yeah, I wasted my money to get a matching rear shock. Like, so what?
yeah,
That's like that's part of the fun of this whole sport is that all these bikes are modular and stuff's interchangeable and you can just pick and choose whatever you want,
yeah.
which is cool.
I agree.
All right, before we answer the last couple questions, let's take a very brief intermission for a pee break.
Oh,
Bathroom break? Does that sound more appropriate?
next question.
Read it off. I'm eating my spicy mango dipped in whiskey.
Oh, delicious. I was listening to episode 111, which had lots of bib talk. I was wondering why a lot of brands are getting rid of the back pockets on their bibs. Sambito and Raceface both did? Is it because of a safety issue or just harder to manufacture? That is a great question.
Oh, that's a typo. It's Sombrio,
Oh,
I think. It's just like a small mountain
probably.
yeah.
I thought I was going to say
brand.
I'd never heard of Sumptio.
Yeah, that's typo.
But seeing that the R is right next to the T, I could see how that could happen.
Yeah, so I have no idea the internal workings of why those companies did that, but I will say, knowing like as you know, now that we're deep in the weeds of designing kettle mountain gear and especially the bib, which is the most popular mountain bike specific product that a lot of people really love, it is absolutely expensive to sew in those pockets because it's just manufacturing wise, if you think about sewing those and cutting the fabric and stitching it all together is quite cumbersome. So it adds a lot of cost to the bib, albeit it adds a lot of value to the bib.
Yeah,
Tons of value.
Huge, right? So if you have a good bib, and the way that they're designed on the Kettle Mountain Canyon bib is they sort of flap over your, what would you call this?
Your shorts, your
Your
belt?
rear waistband area.
Yeah.
You can put a bunch of stuff in there, and it's just super convenient. So it is expensive, and it is one of those things. I mean, when it comes to apparel, there's no pleasing everyone. That's something that we've learned over the last few years of running Kettle. Is no matter what you do, somebody was like, "Well, I kind of like this," or "Well, I kind of like that," or "Well, I kind of would rather have the zipper on this pocket rather than that pocket." Like, so you just have to kind of do your best to hit the majority. And with the bibs, so my long-term idea, so the current Kettle Canyon bib has got 3 pockets on the back, none of which have zippers on them, but they're all, like, nothing's ever fallen out of those pockets that I've ever heard of. However, some people would like the security of a zipper, but zippers don't stretch.
No.
So did you ever use the prototype one that we had the zipper on?
Yeah.
And it didn't stretch, and that was kind of annoying because when you put your hand in there, like you can zip your wallet or your phone in there or your keys, but it doesn't stretch. So I don't know, it's like weird thing. So my long-term view is I think that the current Kettle Canyon bib, which is like a good lightweight sort of long ride bib with 3 pockets, is fantastic, but I think there's room for also offering a ultralight version that doesn't have pockets on the back, but has a couple side pockets, like those popular sort of side quad pockets where you can put your phone or a goo or something. And then that would be the ultralight version of the bib with less fabric too. And then hot weather, you could say. And then there'd also be an even further cargo bib. And that cargo bib could have the existing 3 pockets plus the 2 side pockets plus maybe, I don't know, plus is like an additional zipper pocket for your keys or your phone that you wanted to really keep secure or something. So I think it would make sense to have 3, like a lineup of all 3. But anyways, that was a long-winded way of saying, it is expensive. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know why apparel and mountain bike gear is a hard, challenging topic. And I'm just really glad that a lot of people love the existing kettle bib, which I think people love the way the pockets are designed and they love the chamois.
Yeah.
So
same.
Yeah.
Got like 5 of them.
Yeah. Yeah. You love that.
You fancy.
Yeah.
And Jared,
I have 4 or 5 as well.
Jared is a good product tester because if he doesn't like something, like he just won't use it. Like when we got the Trail One Hell's Gate grips, he's just like, they're just like too big. Like I just like a smaller grip. This is a funny story. Did we talk about this last time?
Probably.
Like we just couldn't get him to use the trail. Like Jared, come on, you gotta like support the trails, man.
I'm like, you're basically
this
sponsored,
is like a
Jared.
brand we're like co-own. Like ride these Trail One grips. And he's like, I just do they're too thick. And then eventually you were forced into it. This is the best part. So then we literally design, which is coming out in a month or 2, the Farlow Gap grips, which is a much thinner profile, like smaller diameter profile grip. And you're like, and now I show you this, and you're like, well, actually now I've adapted and started to like the thicker Hell's Gate grips, and I don't want a thinner grip anymore.
Yeah, pretty much said it.
But either way, at least like it's just funny. You're just good as much as,
Yeah.
You're just going to use what you like, which is good.
That's true.
So that's why I'm like, oh, he likes the bib. And he actually likes it, because if he didn't, I know he wouldn't wear it.
Oh, yeah. I wear it basically every ride. Doesn't even matter if it's like a 4-mile ride or a 40-mile ride. Like, I want to wear it.
We are going to make, basically take, because the chamois is a huge part of why people love that, and the little gripper things on the bottom, on the leg opening. So we're just going to make the shorts. So no bib, but just the liner shorts. I actually like those for shorter rides when I don't need the pockets and stuff.
A lot of people like those.
I've never worn those in my life.
Just
see, some people say that.
Really?
Some people are just
It's not bibs. Those are regular
only.
liner shorts.
Oh, got it.
Bib means it's got the wrestler straps.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I mean, some people like them. I actually like them too. So because if I'm using a hydration pack, that's when I want the shorts.
That's the only time where I'm like, oh wait, if I'm running a hydration pack, and it's full one, but then again, I always kind of run the mini one anyways. Yeah.
Yep. Again, can never please everyone with
I just
apparel.
like the support with the bib because you don't have to like pull it up. I feel like if I'm wearing the liner shorts, like you got to pull them up, like they fall down. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Nope.
Maybe you didn't have the right size or good enough.
Well, it's like
grippers on
just
them.
like everything, It's like I don't know. It doesn't like the bib. That's one thing I love. It's just like it stays there with the straps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm sure there's some listeners out there who also have liner
sure.
shorts that fall down.
But also people like security, even if things don't happen in real life, but they happen in their head.
Yeah.
Kind of like zipper pockets.
Well,
right?
yeah.
It's like
Jorge was like, oh, I kind of want the Canyon bib with the zipper pocket. That was like who like was telling us.
Yeah.
And we're like, why? Have you lost the phone? No, but like it could happen.
Yeah.
But you haven't yet.
Like that's, I mean, I zip my zipper pocket up all the time because I don't want my phone to fall out. Has it ever fallen out? No.
There you go.
in other pants or unzip? No, but I just makes me feel better.
Yeah.
It's like having a lock on your front door at home. No one's going to come in your house.
Hey.
And if they want to, they just break the window right next to the door. But it makes you feel better, doesn't it, to lock that door?
Are you on Nextdoor? Have you seen the people that go up to the houses at night? All right. Next question. Hey guys, I think about 10 podcasts ago you were talking about a cycling location you came from, which combined nice trails with great views. Where was this? Can you maybe do a podcast about best places for MTB getaway? I normally travel to South Africa to do my mountain biking, and everything I hear about the most popular places to ride in the USA, like Moab, just confirms to me that I should continue to go to South Africa. Honestly, that took a turn I did not expect. But where I can combine epic trails, literally, with wine-tasting great food without having to rough it out in a tent or a basic lodge to enjoy some MTB action. But I must be missing good stuff in the USA. Please help me and people like me find it. Thank you. Well, Jeff, you had a very great answer to this question that was brief earlier.
I didn't read the full question.
Oh, you didn't?
I read the first part of the question and I just said, Breckenridge, Colorado, next question. Because Breckenridge, Colorado, we spent 2 weeks there last summer and it was just so fun. The trails were so well built. There's a little small bike park area with dirt jumps that are really cool. There's all these amazing cross-country trails. There's all these amazing hand-built trails that have small jumps on them and little ladder bridges, and the town is awesome. There's a nightlife scene. There's good restaurants. There's a distillery.
Yep.
It was we had the time of our lives.
Yep. Brewery and what was it called?
Aside from it being at 9,000 feet elevation, which it takes a few days to get used to. But it was awesome. But I didn't realize this guy's like, well, I've been to South Africa, and that's where I go.
Well, it also...
I don't know, man. I've never been to South Africa.
I kind of took this as maybe he's not even from the U.S. or South Africa.
Oh, no, yeah. I think he's from Europe or something like that. But
yeah, because if you're from California, it's not very fun to get on a plane for 2.5 days to go to South Africa.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it takes
a bit gnarly.
forever to get to Africa.
Yeah, I thought it was just funny how I started reading that first part initially about Moab, and I was like, oh, it's going to confirm that he needs to go to Moab. And it's like, no, I should keep going to South Africa.
Yeah, I know.
But
Moab, I was a little disappointed in Moab. The rock formations were amazing, but like the town itself was nothing that cool.
Well,
it wasn't nothing on Breckenridge.
Let's also say we did go there peak COVID.
Yeah, it wasn't mess.
So let's give it a little bit of a...
That's true.
Of a,
Take
some
out
slack.
But,
I mean... Breckenridge was awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And Sun Valley was also pretty cool. I mean...
Sun Valley is cool.
This guy sounds a little bougie. So maybe he would like Sun Valley.
Like Sun Valley.
Sun Valley is bougie.
Well, I would also say most of the Chasing Epic trips try to go to places pretty much just like that. Where you get epic riding, you get cool like kind of restaurants and stuff. And like whether you do a Chasing Epic trip or not, like... The kind of cities that they go to or the towns are kind of like that for that reason. So
Chasing Epic has been amazing. We've done at least 1 or 2 trips with those guys for the past several years, and they've been super fun and really good destinations. But I mean, then again, if you're on the budget, Breckenridge, I guess Breckenridge is not like cheap by any means, but
it's in the middle.
It's not like going to South Africa
or Aspen.
It's
Aspen
less money than Aspen. It's less money than Whistler. It's less money than a lot of places.
Yep.
Flying to Denver and cruise on up, and it's really cool. I don't know. I'm just become a big fan of Breckenridge. Whistler, I also think is amazing, albeit it's super expensive to ride the bike park.
Yeah.
Well, I actually think Whistler Bike Park cost of like getting your ticket, it costs less than our local Big Bear Park. Like per day, a 3-day pass was like.
But how about that lodging and that food?
Well, you said to ride the bike park. I didn't say
honestly,
how to get there.
Probably pretty comparable these days. Like, I mean, at least the lodging. I mean, you can't really. I mean, I don't know. Lodging in any ski destination, you're gonna get. Kind of screwed, but
it's a little expensive unless you split it with a bunch of bros.
Honestly, probably a bunch of places in the Pacific Northwest are pretty sick. Like Bellingham is probably pretty sick to go ride, and I don't know about any wineries, but definitely a couple breweries you can go to.
Truckee, California, which is just across the border from Nevada and the Sierra Nevada mountains, is awesome, and you're pretty close to Napa and all the iconic wineries.
Yeah,
and there's great mountain biking in Truckee and
lake activities in Lake Tahoe.
Lake Tahoe, and that's another good area, but. I don't know. This is so tough because it depends on what you want to ride, and your budget at the end of the day makes a big difference. But
for sure.
Anyways, we're friends at Breckenridge. That's definitely a fun place to go if you want really good trails.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know. Maybe we got to go to South Africa.
I would not mind that.
Yeah. we are going to
the Cape Epic with me.
I don't know. It looks a little crazy XC. We'll see. Ask me after I
get a gravel bike.
Try these new tires out for a little longer.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, we have got some notes from previous episodes. A couple of people emailed in with some information. This great listener let us know what SID stands for. It is an acronym for Super Light Integrated Design. Admittedly, yeah, it is kind of dumb. Source.
Oh, he said that.
Yeah.
Dumb.
Source, I'm old and I remember reading about it when it came out in Mountain Bike Action magazine. Those were kind of like a printout of Pink Bike, but the comment section was limited to a few letters from several months ago and thus not nearly as amusing. That is awesome. And what is integrated about the SID?
The SID's, I don't know. We should get a rock engineer on here to talk about this. That's been there for ages.
Yeah.
Maybe if there is one.
Maybe
still.
back in the day, like something wasn't integrated. Now it was.
That's true.
Like, inside the fork.
I think some of the OG SIDs had carbon steer tubes. And
They definitely
maybe
did.
a carbon steer tube into the carbon crown.
It did, yeah.
So maybe that's where that
But that
came
wasn't
from?
like super OG. That was like SID, the blue SID,
like
super early.
2005. That's
Yeah. But when that carbon steer and carbon integrated crown was probably like 2010-ish to like 2014, 2015. They had like 2 or 3 versions of that.
Don't they still have a carbon steer like up until a few years ago?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few
But no
years ago.
crown. It was like the same crown just with the carbon steer or whatever.
Maybe, yeah. I had one of those.
Sweet. Well, there you go. That's Super Light Integrated Design, a SID. Also, this listener, this was regarding the Amish mountain bikers. Hey guys, your episode today reminded me to respond to your question from a few episodes ago. Here in Southwest Missouri, there's a group of Amish mountain bikers, and they are serious shredders. Nothing like seeing a 10-year-old Amish kid in denim overalls completely sail through a line that defeats most people. They are regulars at Howler Bike Park just outside of Branson, and they have some really nice bikes, but typically still sport the farm outfit with boots or tennis shoes and overalls. If you make it to the area, it's worth checking out Howler. Like, that is so sick.
Awesome.
I love that. And just picturing that is like so awesome.
oh man.
It's kind of like Brage.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Just
That-
rocks his jeans
Totally.
and outshreds everyone.
It's funny because I've been watching, Paige has been watching TLC, so we watch this like Amish show. It's like returning Amish, so they like the kids get like a taste of the outside world, and then they have to decide if they're like going to go back to being Amish or not. And
I think that used to be on MTV back in the day.
probably, but man,
They're not
it
still
is,
making that show, right? She's
like
watching
breaking Amish. No, I think it is new. Yeah,
Really?
They're still they have like breaking Amish and like and what's it called? I forget.
Man, so much content
going Amish.
these days.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, if you're
Do
looking
you have
for
that on cable, Jared?
it is on cable. I have cable
Wow.
for sports.
Yeah, no. People who like sports still pay for TV subscriptions.
Yeah, we can also. I mean, cannot watch a Dodger game unless you have
Yeah, I
Spectrum
know.
Sportsnet. It's like
Yep.
they have a monopoly, which is insane.
I know a few people who love the Dodgers, and I've heard
Baseball is so silly.
they love it.
Fun fact, Jared has a Dodger tattoo.
Oh,
Hopefully his parents aren't listening to this
don't think they listen. So
this far.
Wait, they don't know?
no.
God, you didn't know that? That's the funniest part. No.
And that's the end of the show.
Jared's 30 years old. He has a tattoo his parents don't know about.
Oh, geez, and now we're screwed. Just kidding.
You are.
I have
I'm
my
going
own.
to keep living my life.
I'm fine. Just,
Liam has one tattoo too. His parents don't know either.
he has one tattoo. It covers
I
his
do
whole
only
body.
have one tattoo.
If you've made it this far, thank you very much. We genuinely appreciate it. And if you leave the MTB Podcast a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, take a little screenshot of it and send it over to Jared at podcast@worldwidecyclery.com.
No.
Podcast at world. Oh, send it to Jared at podcast. No, sorry. The way
You're
said
the guy
that.
who reads the emails
The
that
way
go to
you said it,
podcast@worldwidecyclery.com.
I thought you were saying like Jared at podcast at worldwidecyclery.com. And I'm like, no, that's not a valid email
that
address.
Fox beer is getting to your head, man. Either that or my chili mango.
I think it's the
I
latter.
think it's probably both of you guys, but I didn't understand it either.
Screen
so.
capture the review
Yeah.
and then hit the little share button.
There you go.
Email podcast@worldwidecyclery.com
Nailed it.
and say this is it. And then Jared will.
I will give you a $15 gift card to the worldwidecyclery.com website.
You could buy some grips for half off, more than half off. You can buy some brake pads. You could
Yeah.
buy a fender. You could get a free water bottle. I mean,
Gloves. I don't know.
$15 off is a. You
Yeah.
get a lot of.
I mean,
there's a lot of cheap stuff on there that you could
think they got plenty of
You
incentive.
could buy a 4-stole Sirion.
Yeah, you could buy a $13,000 e-bike and get $15 off. That's a good deal.
I think somebody actually did that, didn't
They did, yeah.
Yeah, that is funny. They're
That's
probably
awesome.
just a podcast fan, and they're like, "That bike's sick. I'm getting it."
We
Yeah.
should, hey, dude, here's another $15 gift card. Do what you want.
Yeah,
Buy another bike.
don't spend it all in one place. But if you leave us a review, we genuinely appreciate it. If you have any suggestions for us in terms of guests we should have or various other questions, also email them to us or drop a DM on Instagram. Is that all right?
Yeah.
You don't like
I'll
those,
let that
do you?
fly. I mean, that page doesn't get checked.
I'll let that fly.
That page doesn't get checked as often as
The
my
MTB Podcast
as our
Instagram.
email. So podcast at worldwidecyclery.com.
If you're serious about getting your question,
Yeah.
podcast at worldwidecycler.com
Yeah.
via email. We're still in the email days. Maybe that makes us old, but whatever.
Yeah. Plus one for Bean mentions Bean the cat.
No plus
Oh,
ones for
and a name for my rock pet
Yes. If
to
you have a
rival Bean
name-
the Cat.
If you have a name for Liam's pet rock, that's not Dwayne or Chris. We'd love to hear it.
That's it. That's all. If you have mountain bike friends that you think would enjoy our content, please share this podcast and or any of our content with them, because that's also super helpful to us and cool of you to do. So thank you. See you guys next time.
Love ya.